Hi there. I'm really glad we get to meet here, not in a clinic full of machines and medical files, but in a quieter space where we can talk honestly without rushing and without shame. I'm Dr. Rose. I've listened to hundreds, no thousands of stories from men and women over 50. And there's something I've realized, something I want to share with you today. We often give up on ourselves too early. Have you ever felt that way? One morning you wake up and suddenly, you don't quite feel like you anymore. Your body feels slower, your mind more scattered, and that spark of joy, that vibrant energy that once made you love life, love people, it seems to have faded without you even noticing when. I once had a patient say, "I haven't felt like a man since my wife passed away." Another whispered to me, "That kind of thing is for young people, Doc. At my age, what's left to explore?" And I get it. Society taught us this, didn't it? That somewhere around 50, some 70, we're supposed to shut off the liveliest parts of ourselves, especially our sexual selves. It gets labeled as shameful, silent, unnecessary. But let me ask you gently, what if we've been wrong? What if that part we think has faded is simply waiting to be awakened again, in a softer, deeper, more seasoned way? I'm not just talking about sex. I'm talking about something far bigger, your connection with your own body, with vitality, with that inner rhythm, with the subtle signals your body gives you when you touch it with curiosity, not judgment. I have met men at 75, 80, still walking with their grandkids gardening every morning, laughing like they did in their youth. And I've seen others, just 60, whose minds have quietly closed, whose eyes have withdrawn from the world. You see, the difference isn't always genetics, or money, or luck. It's how we choose to hold on to our inner aliveness physically and emotionally. And believe it or not, maintaining your sexual connection, even through self-touch, is one of the most powerful ways to do that. I know you might be shaking your head or furrowing your brow. Really, Doc? At this age, we're talking about that, I hear you. Trust me, I used to hesitate before bringing this up too, but then science backed it up, and my years of experience made it crystal clear. When you stay connected to your sense of desire, you send a message to your brain, your heart, your immune system that says, "I'm still alive. I still care about myself." It's not a base instinct, it's self-care. Just like walking, eating well, meditating. And I want to show you how to do it in a way that's respectful, safe, and deeply human. Because I believe growing older doesn't have to mean fading away. It can be a new chapter, quieter maybe, but truer. Where you still get to decide how you live, still have a voice, still feel fully alive in this body. And if you're ready, we can walk this journey together, starting today. So, why am I a doctor who works mostly with people over 50, choosing to talk about this today? Because what many people assume is no longer necessary actually has a direct impact on your brain, your heart, and even your longevity. I want you to imagine your body like a classic car. Strong, beautiful, but if you don't turn the engine on regularly, the parts inside start to rust, to stiffen. Sexual stimulation driven through self-touch is like oiling the engine. When you touch your own body with curiosity and kindness, you kickstart your circulation. Blood flows more freely, not just down there, but to your heart, your brain, your muscles. And you know what blood carries oxygen, what keeps every single cell in your body alive. One study in Finland tracked men aged 55 to 75 over 5 years. And the results impressive. Those who maintained an active sex life alone or with a partner had lower rates of heart disease and significantly better memory. Plus, when you reach orgasm or even just feel aroused, your body floods with good hormones. Endorphins, your natural painkillers, easing backaches and joint pain. Oxytocin, the love hormone that calms your nervous system, lowers stress, and helps you sleep better. Testosterone, which, though it declines with age, still gets boosted, protecting your muscle mass and bone density. In other words, one small regular act can impact your entire cardiovascular, nervous, and muscular systems. And I'm not talking about sex in a performance-based or pressured way. I'm talking about a very private, very personal, very meaningful form of self-care. Something that keeps you connected to your body, your aliveness, your humanity. This isn't something I read in a textbook. It's something I've witnessed over hundreds of real-life stories. And maybe, just maybe, it's about to become part of yours. Now you might be listening to all this and thinking, but I don't feel that way anymore. At my age, does this even mean anything, or maybe even deeper? I'm not sure that part of me even exists anymore. If you've ever thought any of those things, I want you to know you're not alone. I've heard those words more than I've heard any medical diagnosis. From strong, capable men who've supported entire families. From nurturing brilliant women who've raised generations. People with deep inner strength who still quietly whispered to me in my office, I don't feel like myself anymore. And the saddest part, it wasn't something they chose. It was a quiet, long-lasting belief planted in them that once you reach a certain age, you have to turn the lights off on the most vibrant parts of yourself. That desire, intimacy, closeness, that's for the young. That if you're over 60 and still thinking about those things, something must be wrong with you. I had a patient, his name was Walter, 68 years old, lived alone after his wife passed. A very quiet man, didn't say much, but one day he looked me in the eye and said, "Doc, I don't know when I disappeared." He wasn't talking about memory or disease. He meant that disconnect from his own body, no curiosity, no feeling in his own skin. And that, my friend, isn't just emotional loss. It's a real health risk, because when you disconnect from physical joy, even in quiet, private ways, you're cutting off the energy that fuels your nervous system, your immune system, your spirit. Studies show people who stop all sexual activity, including self-touch, have higher risks of depression, faster cognitive decline, and poorer recovery after illness. And the saddest part, it's not because they can't, it's because they think they're not allowed. So I'm sitting here today not to convince you to do anything that doesn't feel right, but to give you something back. Permission. Permission to feel. Permission to be alive. Permission to be you at any age. Dear friend, I know this might feel like a strange topic, maybe even hard to talk about. But if you're still here, still listening, then I believe there's a part of you that's curious, a part that still wants to live fully, deeply, and in good health. Am I right? So today, I want to gently invite you to look at something that many people often overlook. What really happens when you lose connection with your body. Now, I'm not talking about skipping a workout or forgetting breakfast. I'm talking about letting go of physical feeling of pleasure, of desire, of the simple habit of touching your own body with care. It might seem harmless, but here's the thing. It can set off a quiet chain of changes, and they're not always easy to see until they become problems. I once had a patient named Harold, 73 years old. He came to see me because his mind felt foggy. He was forgetting things, tired all the time. We ran tests, nothing serious came up. But after a few conversations, he admitted something. I don't feel like I'm really alive anymore. I don't touch anyone. I don't feel anything on my skin. You see, our brain needs physical sensation the way a plant needs sunlight. When you stop experiencing pleasure, even alone, the parts of your brain that manage memory, focus and emotions, they start to slow down. And science backs this up. People who continue to engage in sexual activity, including self-pleasure, tend to score better on memory language and problem-solving tests. On the other hand, when pleasure is switched off, the brain becomes less flexible and more vulnerable to things like depression and cognitive decline. And it doesn't stop with the brain. When you stop stimulating your body, your circulatory system takes a hit too. Blood flow becomes sluggish. The heart tires more easily. Blood pressure becomes unstable, and even your pelvic muscles and tissues start to weaken. Your immune system, it also suffers. When you stop releasing oxytocin, that calming, healing hormone, the body loses one of its best natural stress relievers. And we know unrelieved stress is the fastest road to disease. I know this all sounds serious, but here's the beautiful part. Your body is still waiting for you. It's not angry, it's not blaming you for leaving it behind. It's just waiting for a sign, a hand, a breath, a whisper that says, I'm still here, and I still want to feel alive, because we're not going to let that sense of aliveness fade away, are we? Now, maybe you're wondering, it's been so long, is it too weird to come back to this? Am I too old to start again? My body isn't what it used to be. I've heard those questions from many people, and my answer is always the same. It's never too late to return to yourself, not to be 30 again, but to become a new version of yourself. Wiser, calmer, and maybe even more beautiful than before. I want you to remember this. Caring for yourself physically and emotionally is never something to be ashamed of. In fact, it's one of the bravest things you can do. It takes courage to acknowledge your real needs. It takes courage to move past shame, awkwardness, and sometimes the quiet fears that come with age. That's why I've created something called the Restoration Method, designed specifically for people over 60 who want to reconnect with their body in a natural, respectful, and pressure-free way. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to perform like you used to. You just need to show up and begin gently, slowly, like reconnecting with an old friend you once forgot. Maybe you start with just one small action. Find a quiet space. Turn off the lights. Sit still. Place your hand over your heart. Take a deep breath. Touch your skin. No judgment, no goal. Just a quiet moment. I'm here. My body is still alive. I once worked with a man named Ben, 76. We started with nothing more than breathing. The first week, that's all he did, sit and breathe. The second week, he added some light shoulder massage. By the third week, he said, I never thought I could still feel this much, this gently. You see, no rush, no pressure, just a willingness to return, a willingness to open up. And if you're still unsure where to begin, don't worry. In the next part, I'll walk you through each step of the process, from setting up your space to relaxation techniques to gentle touch practices made for aging bodies. Just remember, you're not broken. You've just been quiet for a while, and today might be the first moment you come back to yourself softly, patiently, and with great care. I know. There are topics people often avoid, especially after turning 50. Desire, sensation, intimacy, and more than anything, the loss of those things. It's not because we stop loving, it's because the body no longer responds the way it used to. Many men have said to me, I feel like I've lost connection with myself. That's why I want to share this method with you. I call it the gentle return. A journey that's not rushed, not forced, just a simple step-by-step way to come back to your own body. Step 1. Prepare your private space. Pick a quiet place where you won't be disturbed. Turn off your phone. Close the door. Soft lighting, warm yellow light works best. Sit in a chair with back support or lie down. Whatever helps your body feel supported and at ease. You're creating a safe space for yourself, and that's more important than you might think. Step 2. Breathe deeply and relax your whole body. Breathe in slowly for 4 to 6 seconds. Hold for a moment, then breathe out gently. Repeat 5 to 7 times. This kind of breathing sends safety signals to your entire body. It activates your parasympathetic nervous system, exactly what your body needs to feel again, to want again. Step 3. Awaken bodily sensations. Use your hands not to massage hard, just to lay them gently and stroke slowly over areas like your lower belly, inner thighs, chest. That's it. You're not chasing pleasure here. You're waking up parts of yourself that may have been quiet for a long time. Imagine knocking gently on the door of an old room, a place where a vibrant version of you once lived, but has been left untouched. Step 4. Focused stimulation. 3 core techniques. If you start to feel warmth in your body, or even just presence, you can continue with these 3 techniques. Cup your penis with your palm. No movement needed. Just hold it gently, letting the skin touch and the brain register that there's still life here. Small, circular motion on the head of the penis. Light, slow circles repeated. This stimulates the nerve endings and improves blood flow. Massage the perineum. Use your fingers or a soft fist to gently press the area between the anus and testicles. This zone is strongly connected to pleasure centers and your sexual nervous system. There's no need to rush. Every movement, every soft touch is a way of reminding your body that you're still here. Step 5. Reconnect. Relax and reflect. After each session, don't stand up right away. Lie still for a few minutes. Let your breath return to normal. Ask yourself, what do I feel? Where do I feel it? Did any part of me wake up today? If you like, jot a few notes in a journal. No need for poetry, just a few honest lines, like a quiet conversation with yourself. Recommended schedule 2 to 3 times per week, about 30 to 45 minutes each session. Ideal timing, morning, 9:11 a.m., or late afternoon, 5-7 p.m., when your body's energy is steady and your mind is calmer. Now, I'm not going to promise that everything will return overnight, but here's what I do know for sure. When you listen to your body truly gently, it listens back. Even if you're past 50, even if you thought it was too late. It's never too late if you choose to come back. Before you begin or continue on this path, I want you to remember a few small things that actually matter a lot. First, don't expect every session to be perfect. You know your body after 50 is kind of like a garden that hasn't been tended in a while. You can't just water it once and expect everything to bloom overnight. Some days you'll feel deeply connected. Other days it might feel a little vague. Both are valuable. What matters isn't the result, it's that you're learning to listen to yourself again. Second, don't rush, but also don't wait too long. Some people go too fast just to get it over with, then wonder, why didn't I feel anything? Others go weeks without touching this practice, and when they return, it's like starting from scratch. Your body is like an old friend you need to show up regularly, gently, so trust can rebuild. Third, don't just focus on the genitals. Sounds a little strange, I know, but you can't force sensation by just touching one spot. Desire arousal and vitality. They come from your whole body, from how you brush your chest, from the breath that moves through your belly. Think of your entire body as music, not just a single note. And lastly, please, don't let shame or guilt stop you. You're doing something right, science backs this up. Staying connected to your bodily sensations, to your genitals, supports better blood flow, hormone balance, nervous system health, and even mental well-being. This isn't selfish. It's not weird. It's a natural part of taking care of yourself as you grow older. And if some days feel hard, just sit, breathe deeply, and remind yourself, I deserve to reconnect, not to become someone else, but to come home to myself, fully, vibrantly. If you're still wondering, if all of this is really meant for you, then I want you to hear this loud and clear. This isn't just about sex. It's not about what you can still do or whether you still have it. It's not about racing time or clinging to youth. This is self-care. On a deep, honest level. When you place your hand on your body, when you slow your breath and really listen, you're saying to yourself, I matter, I'm still here, I still feel. And none of that depends on age hormones or whether you're in a relationship. It depends on permission. The permission you give yourself to reconnect, to feel alive, to be fully present. This is your human right. To feel, to be loved first and foremost by yourself, whether you're 55, 65, or 75. Please remember, you are not too late. You are not past your time. You still have every right to feel whole. I'm Dr. Rose. If this video helped you reconnect with yourself, please like and subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching.